All right, looks like we've got a lot to unpack today, a ton of stuff on Casper blockchain. Let's dive in.
One of the things that's so interesting about Casper is that it's got this really interesting history going way back. Like we're talking early days of mobile tech, even online gaming, like 2001, which
Okay, so we're going back.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll uncover some of those connections, give you a fresh perspective on Casper.
Okay, so let's start with this new CTO, Michael Stoyer.
Mhm.
His background is, well, unusual, to say the least.
Mhm.
Downloadable mobile games at THQ in 2001. I remember those wrestling games.
Yeah.
And somehow he ends up in the blockchain world.
It is an interesting path.
Yeah.
But what's really key here, and this is important for understanding everything else, is that Stoyer was actually one of the co-founders of Casper Labs back in 2018. Stepped away for a bit, but now he's back as the Casper Association's CTO.
Wait, hold on. Casper Labs, Casper Association.
Oh.
What's the difference? I can see how that would be confusing.
Yeah, and this distinction has caused some confusion in the community. So Casper Labs, they've rebranded as Proof AI now. They're a for-profit company focusing on enterprise solutions. But the Casper Association, that's a nonprofit, and they're the ones leading the development of the Casper protocol itself, all the public-facing aspects of the blockchain.
Okay, so two separate entities.
Yeah.
But Stoyer has experience with both. That's got to be valuable.
Oh, absolutely. And he's hit the ground running. One of his first moves was bringing all the core Casper protocol engineers under the Casper Association. So
Okay.
it's one dedicated team focused just on the blockchain, no more distractions.
Makes sense, especially with all the delays with Casper 2.0.
Yeah.
I have to admit, even I was starting to wonder if it would ever see the light of day.
Yeah. The delays, they were significant for sure, but here's the good news. Stoyer made Casper 2.0 a top priority. It's feature complete now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, testing and rollout, they're already underway.
Okay. That is a relief to hear. What about that hack back in July? Did that throw things off track at all?
It actually highlighted just how important robust security is. Remember, the code fix itself, that was quick, but verifying the entire blockchain back to its genesis, that took days.
Right.
That same dedication to security, it's baked into Casper 2.0 now. Additional safeguards, audits, the whole 9 yards.
Well, better safe than sorry, as they say, especially in the blockchain world. One thing that's always stood out to me about Casper is the upgradable smart contracts, which
Right.
it's almost like having like a software update for your blockchain.
Exactly. Imagine this. You can update your decentralized application, your dApp, without having to move users to a completely new contract. No disruption, just seamless improvement.
So it's like, being able to patch a software bug without forcing everyone to download a whole new version.
Precisely.
That's got to be a huge plus for developers.
Oh, absolutely. And Casper doesn't stop there. They've got built-in access management, testing harnesses, support for common programming languages. They're really pulling out all the stops to attract developers.
So let's address the elephant in the room, shall we?
Yeah.
Proof AI's move to Hedera. There's been a lot of buzz about that.
Yeah.
Did Proof AI take any of that Casper tech with them?
That's a very good question, and the answer is no. No contracts were transferred over to Hedera. They're separate companies. Proof AI, they're still all about those enterprise solutions, just on a different blockchain now.
Okay.
The Casper Association, though, they're broadening their focus. DeFi, gaming, real-world assets, they're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
So Proof AI is off doing its own thing, but Casper's not abandoning the enterprise space completely.
Not at all. Now, there has been some concern about Proof AI's remaining CSPR holdings,
Sure.
but they've made a public commitment that most of those holdings will end up with the Casper Association.
Okay.
So it'll benefit the whole ecosystem.
So it sounds like Proof AI is moving on, but they're not trying to burn any bridges or, harm Casper on their way out.
Right. It's an amicable separation.
Okay. So with all that said, what's next for Casper? What's got you excited?
Well, things are about to get very interesting in the DeFi space. Casper already has one of the highest APYs among the proof-of-stake chains, but they're about to launch a real game changer, liquid staking.
Okay, now that's something I want to hear more about, 15% APY. Tell me more about this liquid staking project.
So it's a collaboration between the Casper Association router protocol and the team behind Odra, which is a really powerful framework for token implementations on Casper.
Okay.
What's really cool is that with Casper 2.0, contracts can now stake directly on the network. It's a game changer for liquid staking.
So no more clunky multi-party computation or those centralized middlemen.
Yeah, exactly. It's all on-chain, it's secure, it's efficient. Router protocol, they'll handle the bridging, so users can stake their assets from other chains like USDC on Base directly into liquid staked Casper, all in one click.
Wow, that's impressive. All right, so liquid staking's a big focus, but what other DeFi initiatives are in the works?
Oh, there's a lot brewing. The DeFi working group, they're tackling some key issues like the stability of CSPR USD, which is the current stablecoin on Casper.
Right.
And they're exploring the possibility of bringing USDC to Casper, which would be huge for the ecosystem.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What about new DXs or other DeFi building blocks?
Well, there's a new DOX coming online called Helix, and Mobile is stepping up as a data oracle provider, which is crucial for all sorts of DeFi applications.
Interesting.
The association's also looking at a proposal for a pump and fund style token minter project. This could make launching new DeFi projects a lot simpler.
Sounds like they're really trying to create this fertile ground for DeFi to flourish on Casper.
Yeah?
But with all this innovation and development, who's calling the shots? What role does the community actually play in all of this?
That's where things get really interesting. Casper is transitioning to a much more community-driven model with plans for on-chain governance. CSPR holders, they'll have a direct say.
Wait, so it's not just the developers and the Casper Association making all decisions anymore?
Not anymore. CSPR holders will be able to influence decisions through their stake. Protocol upgrades, funding proposals, even electing board members for the Casper Association.
Okay, so that's a big shift toward decentralization.
Yeah.
But how are these CSPR holders going to stay informed? I mean, how do we make sure everyone's voice is actually heard?
Well, the Casper Association is committed to transparency and open communication. They're exploring different platforms and tools to help facilitate those community discussions.
So it's not just about holding the token. It's about actively participating, shaping the future of the blockchain.
Exactly. You can choose validators who align with your views, participate in discussions, really make your voice heard. It's an exciting time to be a part of the Casper community.
Before we move on, I want to touch on one more thing.
Oh.
Token standards. What's ODRA and why is it important?
Okay, so ODRA is a really powerful framework for implementing token standards on Casper. It's flexible, it's efficient, and it tackles some of the limitations of those original Casper template contracts.
Okay, but what does that mean for developers? What makes ODRA so special?
ODRA brings consistency and standardization to token development on Casper. It supports a wide range of standards, including popular ones on Ethereum and Casper's native standards, of course. This means that developers can easily port over existing projects or build new ones that can interact smoothly with other blockchains.
So interoperability is a big focus here. But for us non-developers, how does ODRA benefit us?
ODRA makes it easier for everyone to understand and manage their assets on Casper. Think of it like a universal language for tokens.
Okay, that makes sense. So ODRA is a win-win for developers and users. And to top it all off, they've even got AI in the mix with Coral AI, which lets anyone create tokens using simple language, no coding required.
It's pretty groundbreaking. You just describe what you want your token to do, and Coral AI handles all the technical stuff. It's democratizing token creation.
Wow, okay, I'm officially blown away. Casper's pushing the boundaries here. But before we get too carried away, let's step back and talk about the team behind all of this. Who are the key players driving this transformation? Yeah, it feels like Casper is at this turning point, you know? New leadership, new tech, this renewed focus on community. It's a lot to process. So let's meet these people, the ones making it all happen, the masterminds behind the curtain.
Okay, so we've already met Michael Stoyer, the CTO, right? But up at the top, we've got Marinal Manohar, who's the interim executive director of the Casper Association. And you might remember him as the CEO of Proof AI, that company that partnered with Hedera.
Oh, right. Wait, so he's leading both Proof AI and the Casper Association. Is that even possible?
It's definitely, it's unusual for sure, but Manohar, he was also one of the co-founders of Casper Labs, the company that originally built the whole Casper protocol.
Okay.
So he's been deeply involved with Casper from the very start.
Okay, so two hats, but his roots are in Casper. Got it.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the leadership team? Who else is, steering the ship?
Well, there's Shafiq Punja, the chief financial officer. He's the one making sure the finances are in order. Sustainability, that's his thing. He's got this background in traditional finance, Deloitte, Ernst & Young. But he's also been involved in blockchain for a while, so it's a good mix.
Yeah, you need that old school wisdom combined with this new world of crypto, right?
Okay, what about the engineers, though? Who's building the tech, the nuts and bolts of everything?
Well, one of Stoyer's first moves, like we talked about, was to bring all those core Casper protocol engineers under the Casper Association.
Right. So you've got this dedicated team now, focused solely on the blockchain's development. It's led by Ed Hastings, who's head of core engineering,
Okay.
another Casper veteran.
Yeah, that kind of experience must be invaluable, especially with a project as, ambitious as Casper. And speaking of experience, we can't forget about the team at Make, right? They've been really involved in building out the Casper ecosystem.
Oh, absolutely. That's Stoyer's other company, right?
Right.
They've been super instrumental in developing that key infrastructure, like the Block Explorer, the wallet, developer tools, everything that makes Casper user-friendly and accessible.
Yeah, they're making it appealing to both developers and regular users.
Smart. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about community. We've talked about this move towards on-chain governance, but how will it work in practice? What can CSPR holders actually expect?
The finer details are still being ironed out, but the big picture is to give CSPR holders a real voice, proportionate to their stake. So the more CSPR you have, the more say you have. Makes sense. But will it be like a simple one token, one vote system?
Probably a little bit more nuanced than that. They're exploring different models like quadratic voting,
Okay.
which tries to prevent, those with huge holdings, the whales, from having too much influence.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about the size of your stake,
Mm.
but also about creating this balanced system where everyone's voice can be heard. But what exactly will these CSPR holders be voting on?
Potentially everything. Protocol upgrades, tweaking those blockchain parameters, funding proposals, even choosing the board members for the Casper Association.
Wow, that is a lot of responsibility with
Yeah.
great power.
Comes great responsibility, exactly.
But how are they going to stay informed? Make sure they're making educated decisions.
Yeah, transparency and open communication, that's crucial here. The Casper Association, they're looking into all kinds of different platforms and tools, forums, social media, even these dedicated governance dashboards, just to keep the community informed.
So it sounds like they're really thinking this through, trying to make it a truly decentralized democratic process. But let's be real here. Not everything is perfect. What are the biggest challenges facing Casper right now? What could, derail this whole vision?
Well, one of the biggest things they need to overcome is this perception that Casper is just an enterprise blockchain, all suits and ties.
Right, right.
They need to broaden their appeal, attract developers, attract users from other sectors like DeFi, gaming, NFTs.
So shaking off that corporate image, showing the world that Casper can hang with the big dogs in the crypto world.
Exactly. And they're taking steps in that direction. You've got this new liquid staking project, those stablecoin improvements, the Coral AI token minting platform. They're showing they're serious.
Right. But it's not just about building the tech, it's about marketing, getting the word out there, right?
Absolutely. They need to tell their story, in a way that resonates, highlight the benefits of Casper, the problems it solves. And they are starting to do that. Remember that Casper fans campaign?
Oh, yeah. The one that brought in like 500,000 new users already? Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
It is. And it shows that they're serious about this marketing push, about community building. They're also exploring these partnerships, with key players in DeFi, gaming, NFTs, building bridges, creating a diverse ecosystem.
Smart. So lots of strategic moves happening, but, there have been some bumps in the road, too, like that hack back in July. That must have shaken some people's confidence.
Definitely. Anytime you have a blockchain halting, that's a big deal. But it's really about how they handle it. And the Casper Association, to their credit, they were very transparent, communicated openly, and acted fast.
So they didn't try to sweep it under the rug.
No, they owned it.
Yeah.
Focused on rebuilding that trust with the community. And it seems to have worked. The community rallied, and it even sparked a lot of conversations about security and governance.
So a tough lesson, but it ultimately made the project stronger.
Now, beyond security, what other challenges do they face? I mean, the blockchain space is so competitive.
It is. There are hundreds of projects out there.
Right.
All fighting for attention, fighting for funding. Casper has to be able to articulate what makes them unique, what problems they solve better than anyone else.
So a clear vision.
Yeah, a strong message. But it's not just words, it's actions. They have to take those concrete steps to stand out.
What steps are they taking?
Well, we've talked about the upgradable smart contract, the developer-friendly tools, that high APY. Those are all big advantages. But they have to keep innovating, building those partnerships, attracting those users, developers. It's a race.
Yeah, got to keep moving. Okay, so what's the overall vibe in the Casper community right now? Are people excited, apprehensive, or somewhere in between?
I'd say there's a sense of optimism, a renewed energy. People
Yep.
are excited about the direction, about the community involvement, the potential. That's good to hear. But I imagine there are still some doubts, especially after that whole proof AI situation. It must have felt like a bit of a betrayal to some.
Understandably. But the Casper Association has been very clear that Proof AI's decision, it doesn't impact Casper's future. And they're proving it, accelerating the development of Casper 2.0, launching these DeFi initiatives. Actions speak louder than words.
So it's this two-way street, right? The association needs to be open, responsive, and the community. They need to stay engaged, hold them accountable. It's a partnership.
Exactly. It's a journey they're on together.
This has been incredibly insightful. I feel like I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. But we're not done yet. We've looked at the team, the community, the challenges, the opportunities. But what about the token? What's driving its value? What can investors actually expect?
Exactly. Break it down for us. What is CSPR and why should anyone even care?
All right, so CSPR, it's the fuel that powers the whole Casper network, right? Transaction fees, staking, governance, you name it. It's not just some speculative token floating around out there. It's got real utility. And that's key. The more activity there is on Casper, more applications, more users, transactions, the higher the demand for CSPR will be. And that's what ultimately drives its value.
Okay, so utility is key. Got it.
Yeah.
But we can't ignore that there's been some price volatility lately, right? I mean, CSPR has taken a bit of a hit in the past few months. What's going on there?
Well, a few things. First, you've got the overall crypto market, which has been, it's been down. Bitcoin, other major cryptocurrencies, they've all taken a dip.
So this is kind of a crypto-wide thing, not necessarily Casper-specific.
Right, but there are also some Casper-specific factors. That whole Proof AI situation, for instance, that created some uncertainty. When a founding company decides to jump ship to a different blockchain, well, it raises some questions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people are going to wonder, like, if the founders are leaving, what does that say about the project, right?
Exactly. And that uncertainty, it led to some investors selling off their CSPR, which, adds to that price decline.
So a mix of market trends and project-specific news all impacting the price. But you mentioned earlier that the price doesn't always tell the whole story. Are you saying that CSPR might be undervalued right now?
It's definitely possible. If you look at the fundamentals, the tech, the team, the roadmap, there's a really strong case to be made for Casper. As they execute these plans, bring on new partners, attract more users, developers, I think that value, it'll catch up.
So for investors, it's about taking that long-term view, not getting caught up in those day-to-day price swings.
Exactly. Focus on the fundamentals.
Now, let's be real. There are always risks with crypto, right? What are some of the potential downsides or challenges that CSPR investors need to be aware of?
Well, the biggest one is that market volatility. Crypto is still a young market, pretty unpredictable, and, CSPR's price, it could keep fluctuating. It's not for everyone.
It's that classic don't invest more than you can afford to lose advice, right?
Exactly. And it's crucial to have a clear investment strategy, Do your research, understand the risks, have a plan.
What about competition? We've talked about how crowded the blockchain space is. How does this stack up?
Well, Casper has some unique advantages, like those upgradable smart contracts, developer-friendly tools, that high APY.
Right.
But it's a race, and Casper has to keep innovating to stay ahead.
So continuous improvement, adaptation, that's key.
Exactly. But the team, they seem aware of this, and they're working hard.
Okay, so we've talked about the risks, the challenges. Let's end on a positive note. What are you most excited about when it comes to Casper's future?
What really gets me is the potential of on-chain governance. Giving the community that real voice, the power to shape the future of the platform, it's a game changer. It's like taking decentralization to a whole new level.
Yeah, a true digital democracy.
Right, and Casper's leading the way there. I'm also excited to see how these new DeFi initiatives pan out. Liquid staking, stablecoin improvements, innovative projects, it's all coming together.
And let's not forget about those enterprise use cases. Casper's still well-positioned to attract those big companies, institutions looking to leverage this technology.
Oh, absolutely. It's got the tech, the security, the community. It's attractive.
So a project with a lot of moving parts, a lot of potential, and our listeners, the ones who've been digging deep into Casper, what's the key takeaway for them?
Casper is at this really pivotal moment. It's moving beyond that image of being just an enterprise blockchain, embracing so much more. It's becoming more open, more community driven, more focused on empowering users.
And with Casper 2.0 coming, the future looks bright.
It does. New features, partnerships, initiatives, it's all creating this really dynamic ecosystem. And CSPR, despite some bumps, it has the potential to ride this wave.
So a time of transition, a time of opportunity for sure. And the community, they have a big role to play in shaping all of this.
Absolutely. And for our listener out there, here's something to think about. With Casper 2.0 on the horizon, this DeFi ecosystem growing, this focus on community governance, what role will you play in the Casper story?
That's a great question. This has been a fascinating journey exploring Casper with you today.
It has.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.